Hey guys, Mel the Terrain Tutor back in the studio and back with another terrain lab for you. Now, so what's this one about Boastical? Well, dead simple. Last week I was over visiting Dave Marshall from TM Terrain and he dropped a little nugget that he uses this stuff, Artex, as his main coating and covering. Now, if you don't know what Artex is, it's sort of a filler come spackle, but it's quite a heavy duty one, and we use it for covering our walls and our ceilings and getting a hard wearing texture on our ceilings. So when he mentioned it, it was a no-brainer. It seems, well, yeah, obviously, of course Artex, yeah. Typically, you don't think of these things until someone mentions it. So, with that in mind, it's time to have a play. Now, just saying I use Artex for everything doesn't really help us as terrainiacs. What we need to know is, well, what's it like on the various materials? And that's where we get to this, okay? The terrain lab, where we put these materials straight through the sort of mill. Now, very quickly, let's first have a look at Artex. Now, this is my Artex here, and if I pop it out, look at that for a beautiful texture. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, you can see straight away how heavy bodied it is. So it looks quite promising. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is put it through a number of tests. I've got a few different materials here. I've got, what have I got, Boastical? Right, I've got MDF, I've got EPVC, I've got foam board, I've got blue extruded polystyrene, yeah, and white expanded polystyrene. I've also got some plastic card. And what we want to do is see how it fits, so how it works, and whether it sticks to all these materials without any problems, because these are typically the materials we're texturing. Okay, now once I've gone through this sort of test, we've got another test, but I can set it up at the same time as I'm doing this one. And the other test is I've got these strips here. Now what I've got is I've got cardboard off a cereals packet, I've got some 3mm EPVC, I've got some 6mm MDF, and I've got some 5mm foam board. Now, long, thick, thin strips always are the worst bases for warping. Yeah, so theoretically this is the best way of finding out if Artex causes us any warping issues. So what we'll be doing is we'll be dropping some onto these pieces as well and seeing if as it dries overnight whether it causes any warping. So with that in mind, it's time to crack on. Now I have my handy spatula, palette knife, something else, whatever we call them. I've got my Artex, and I'm just going to put some down and give you some initial thoughts whilst I'm sort of getting the material out of the tub and just getting a feel for it. And then what I'll do is I'll shoot through all of these, and I'll do these, you know, off camera sort of thing, and then come back once they're all done and we can leave them overnight to dry. So initial thoughts, let's go for the blue one first, eh? Yeah. Oh, it's quite light out the tub. Let me drag this across so you can see it. Yeah. It feels quite light and fluffy. Yeah, I was expecting it to be a lot heavier. Yeah, so slap it on. Yeah, and I'm just spreading it out. It spreads nice. It's not got any drips to it, if you know what I mean. It feels like you are working with a paste rather than a liquid. Yeah, filler can sometimes feel like a liquid, to be truthful. Yeah, so now let's just get a reasonable covering on and let's stipple it. Yeah. Artex is supposed to be really good at maintaining these stipples and that sort of stuff, so I'm quite interested to see if it does. So, that's the blue foam. Okay, right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crack on with all of these off camera, because you don't need me seeing me laying this stuff out, really, do you? Someone in the comments is going to go, yeah, I want to see you do it, Bose. What you like? Yeah, so I'll get cracked on and I'll come back once we've got it done, yeah? See you in a sec. Right, so that's our Artexing done, and it's a little bit messy, but we like messy, don't we? It went down really well, really smooth, easy to work with, has a bit of a moisture feel to it. Strange to sort of say when I said it felt like putty, but with the cardboard, yeah, oh god, didn't want to do that. Got to put some more on there now, just a little. Yeah, but the moisture sort of soaked into the cardboard and made it loose again. Yeah, so that's something to bear in mind. It wasn't that floppy when we started, honest. Okay, so we're going to have to see how that dries, as well as the other materials. Now, it's important to note that with Artex, you'll notice I'm using ready-made premium stuff here. Yeah, when it comes to doing terrain labs and stuff like that, I always tend to go for the more premium ready-made stuff. The reason being is, I know this is right and it's designed to do the job straight out the tub, whereas if I mix it up myself, I don't know if the issues that we're having with it during the experiment are due to the Artex or my poor quality mixing of it. So by using the proper stuff, yeah, straight from the bag, and it's probably about 4 times more expensive than mixing it myself, but it will give me a good handle. And then when I've used all this and I top up my Artex with some powder stuff that you mix yourself, I'll have experience of what I'm expecting, so I'll be able to troubleshoot any sort of problems with the mixing ratio. So basically, I've just gone expensive to take out, you know, any mixing problems out of the terrain lab. So I can be sure that the Artex I'm working with is proper Artex. Same with a decent brand. Yeah, a lot of the times when you're doing things, yeah, I'll do stuff with one brand, you'll do it with a different brand, and you won't get the same results because the qualities of the brand are different. You should always start with the best professional brand if you're learning a material, and sort of step down as you understand it, because that way you know what's expected of it, and you can tell when you're working with an inferior product rather than just going for the cheapest and just, you know, go for the cheapest and hope for the best. Yeah, we don't do that on terrain. We don't do that on terrain. Right, put the lid on there. Now, there are some more other tests that I want to do. I want to do things like mixing it with grit and all that sort of stuff, and paint, and see how it affects with that. So I'm going to get those set up now. So we'll do a quick swish and I'll be back in a second. That's from Beast of War, isn't it? Swish. I like that. See you in a sec. Right guys, while they're actually drying over there, I want to set up this other set of experiments. Now what I've got here is, I've got a little bit of fibre board, just a bit of scrap piece, yeah, and I've just broken up into sections. Now, I'm going to put raw there, we're going to dilute it down here, yeah, we're going to mix it with PVA there, we're going to mix it with paint on this one, we're going to mix it with grit on this one, and then we're going to layer grit on it and see how it works as an adhesive on this one. So pretty basic stuff. Once again, yeah, I'm using my little spatula and I'm just going to spoon it out and layer it on. Okay, now you're not going to want to watch this, are you? There's nothing really to watch here. Yeah, so I'll just basically get cracked on with this. And I'll come back once all these are dry. Okay, and we'll see how these work out. Right, that's all our mixes laid down, and I've covered the majority of the things we do as terrain making. So very quickly to go through them. We've got our raw as our comparison here. We've diluted it down. I went for about probably 1 part water to 5 parts Artex. Now they do actually recommend on the on the instructions watering it down at a 10:1 ratio, but I went a little higher because, you know, we're not putting it on walls. It went down really nice, yeah, flowed on. I can imagine brushing it on. Obviously it dilutes well with water, so that's a good sign for smoothing it out and that sort of stuff when we're working on pieces. Now with the PVA, it stodged it up a bit. Yeah, it felt a little bit more sticky. I know that sounds silly, but it did. Okay, interested to see how that one comes out, if it comes out tougher or anything like that, or more chip resistant. Yeah, both of these obviously aren't holding any stippling. Now with the paint, yeah, we've got a desaturated brown because I added brown acrylic into it. Yeah, that's gone all the way through. Mixing was a little bit problematic, but I was using an old tub. It did mix well in the end. Yeah, so we'll see how that pans out. This one was really interesting. I mixed this one with grit. Yeah, this stuff. Okay, and lovely rocky texture. Really lovely rocky texture. We might throw that on some polystyrene rocks and see what we get out of it. Now the final one, yeah, is I've just got to sprinkle some grit on here. So you might as well follow me along as I do this one, haven't you? So if we get some grit, I'll just throw that on there. And all I want to do, is see what sticks, as they say. Let's see if they stick. Okay, so that's the layered grit done. So the next thing that we need to do is leave all of this, yeah, for 24 hours, yeah, which is the recommended cure time. There's a couple of bits on the other pieces that are already starting to dry, but they're not hard yet, so I do think we are looking at a 24-hour cure on this. Yeah, so Let's give it 24 hours. We'll see how we do, eh? Right guys, it's been 24 hours and it's time to take a look at our results. And first off, we're going to take a look at our materials tests. So straight off the bat, what we've got is, if we pull it up, MDF. We've had no problems with that whatsoever, no reactions. It's stuck really well, and the Artex has maintained that detail really nicely. Yeah, so winner. Okay, moving on to EPVC, expanded PVC foam board. Yeah, it's stuck well on. I mean, I can't really chip at it. Yeah, but you know, it's definitely there. It's a little soft. A little softer in the peaks on this one. Might need a little bit longer to cure. Okay, where it's particularly heavy bodied, but the rest are really nice and firm. Not a problem. Right, has it stuck to plastic hard? Yes, it has. Okay, has caused a slight bit of warping. Okay, I know this isn't the warping test, but it has stuck to it really well. Really well. Once again, a little soft where it's a bit thicker. I think it needs just a little bit longer curing time for that. Okay, foam board. Now, once again, foam board, it has warped a little. Yeah, but it has stuck down perfectly, and it is. See? That's what I mean about it coming off. Being a little soft. But it's not breaking off the foam board. Yeah, it's definitely holding its ridges really nicely. Yeah, so foam board to go, no problems with that one. Right, let's go on to white polystyrene, expanded. Yeah, that's really firmed it up, to be truthful. I'm still getting that softness, yeah, where there's bits which haven't fully cured, where I applied it a bit thick. But it does toughen it up rather nice. Okay, what else we got? Right, extruded blue foam. Yeah. That's really nice, that's gone on well. It's a nice texture where it goes on thin. Really nice texture. Not much surface penetration with it, is there? But then again, it doesn't need to, not with extruded. Yeah, but it does stick down to it rather well. Okay, so our materials, yeah, we don't have any problems. It sticks to the lot, so we are happy chappies on that count. Now, as you noticed as I was going through, there were a couple of materials where the shrinking and the drying and the curing has caused a little bit of warping, so let's have a look at our warping results. Okay, we've got MDF, cardboard, EPVC and foam board. Now, straight off, you should be able to tell that we have issues with the foam board. Now, I knew it was going to warp with foam. Well, I didn't know it was going to warp with foam board, but long and thin, you know, tends to warp, and you know, we did. So bear that in mind. Long, thin foam board and even wide foam board, you're going to struggle with this. Okay. Obviously, if you're applying it to a building that's braced, then that's a different matter. But as bases, don't think this is good for a covering for foam board bases, guys. Okay. Moving on to the cardboard, we've got warpage on this one, but we've got curved warpage. See? Now, I've seen this happen a few times with cardboard, and I don't know why it happens. If there's any physicists who will explain why that one warps that way and that one warps that way, I'd really be interested to find out. Yeah? Let me know in the comments. It's bugging me. Yeah, now moving on to our main basic materials. First off, our what you call it, MDF. Not a sausage, not a little bit of warping. Beautiful, absolutely fine. Bloody, really nice tough surface on it as well. Yeah, so we're on a winner on that one. What about the PVC? Well, let's have a look. No warping whatsoever, so we're on a winner with that one as well. Once again, really tough, really nice. It's got an interesting texture. Let me bring that up. See how when it's laid out smooth, it does actually have a coarse texture. Have some fun with that. So when it comes down to materials, yeah, we're looking at our EPVC and MDF are the way to go, and it works really well with them. So it's looking good, guys. Let's have a look at my mixing and messing around and applied results. Now first off we've got our raw results, and it's exactly how we expected it. You know, exactly the same as our original materials tests. Yeah, nice and firm, a little coarse texture, good adherence. Now if we move it along to where it's dilute, yeah, it's gone down a lot smoother. Yeah, a lot smoother. Yeah, it doesn't have the coarse texture, but it is really firm. So diluting it down as a coating will work, and it will work rather well. I mean, remember when I diluted this down, it did smooth really well. Yeah. Now that was a ratio of, was that 1 to 5 or 1 to 10? Close enough. It wasn't more than 1 to 5, I know it was, because that was the official. 1 to 10 is the official diluting down from the box, from the tub, and I think we diluted it down 1 to 10. Yeah, but good results, good coating, good results. Right, now mixing it with PVA, you know, which is this one. Yeah, if you notice, in fact, let me bring it up like that. There we are, we'll do it like this so you can see a better one. So there's the dilute one. Yeah, and there we have mixed with PVA. Now it is a lot softer. Yeah, it hasn't cured. Yeah, so it doesn't like being mixed with PVA. I think that's fair to say. Yeah, so don't mix it with PVA. I don't like the results. I mean, it might harden over time, but I don't see what you gain from it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, now mixing it with paint. Yeah, this is firmer. There's still little soft feelings in where it's really thick, but we had that with the raw stuff where we applied it thick anyway. The crisping, the stippling is really nice and firm. Okay? It is breakable, but I'm trying to break it. It's almost like it's got a clay texture once the paint's gone into it. I think it loses a bit of structural integrity, but gains that colour. Now, I suppose it comes down to whether you want to paint it or mix the paints in. It could be that it hasn't completely cured. Yeah, so might be something to keep an eye on. Right, moving on. Mixing it with our grit. Brilliant results, really. This stuff's like concrete. Yeah, bit difficult to apply with the grit mixed in, but overall a brilliant result and a brilliant texture. So, well worth bearing in mind for quick jobs. Do you know what I mean? If you don't mind being a bit messy, yeah, that's a quick way of getting a really nice texture on. Now moving on, yeah, we have where we layered the grit onto it. Now here you can see loose grit, so if I brush it off, now it's not gripping the big stones, but it has gripped the fine grit. Yeah? So you can lay it down and you can sprinkle on a texture over it and it will grab it and it will hold it pretty hard, to be perfectly honest, but it's not going to hold, well, maybe. I don't think it's going to hold larger rocks. It might hold smaller bits of grit. Yeah, but we'll have to see with that. Yeah, I'm not sure which one I prefer between these two, to be perfectly honest. But this is what we find out as I actually work through the tub and actually use it practically. What's good to know is that it does actually grip it. Okay, so I can use it as a basing compound. So that's all the basic tests done, guys. Now the next thing I want to do is to see how it takes materials. How does it take paint? How does it take PVA and grit? You know, how does it seal? What reactions? Will a sealing a piece, you know, reactivate the Artex? We don't know until we actually get stuck in. So the next job is I'm going to go back to my original materials, pieces. I'm going to get some paint and that sort of stuff, and I'm basically just going to take you. I'm just going to repeat a couple of little experiments. You know, putting some paint on it, some acrylic, some house paint. Gritting it with a bit of PVA, and we'll see how we go from there. Also, we want to put some hot glue and some super glue on it, don't we? Yeah. Now, I do have a bit of a dilemma, shall I say? Yeah. I'm looking at this, and the instructions say you should leave it a week before before painting it, because it's got to fully cure. Yeah. Now, I don't know if I should or if I shouldn't. I've reached out to Dave. He hasn't come back to me yet. Yeah. So I don't know what his advice is. So, I'm going to do sort of half the pieces, yeah, to see if there's when I mean half, when I'm only going to cover half the piece. Yeah, and I'll leave a bare bit so that can fully cure, and then we can redo it later if it does cause problems, okay? So, give me a second, I'll get set up. Right folks, I've sort of skipped ahead, and I thought, well, rather than explain it then sort of jump ahead and do it, I'd just do it and explain it. Simples! Right, okay, so what have we got here? Well, dead simple. We've got our original material pieces, and I've just put a bit of paint and a bit of grit on them. Yeah, I just want to see how they handle our normal sort of grit and PVA and paint. So, house paint on this one. Yeah. Seems to be taking it alright, but like I say, I'm interested in that sort of degassing issue. See if we do have any problems with it. Yeah, on this one I've thrown on some acrylic. It's not a solid coat, but it's good enough to sort of see the effect. Yeah. I gave it a prime with this one. It seems to be working fine. Yeah, so that's Army Painter Green. And then with this one, I put a little bit of thin down PVA on, just sprinkled some grit onto it. Does look rather nice, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, so they're all on. I need to leave them to dry, and I need to leave the other pieces to dry. So we will leave them to dry. Yeah, and I'll have a look at them tomorrow or the day after, and we'll see how they come out. Assuming that mixing the paint on and that sort of stuff doesn't affect the Artex, and it shouldn't, because it's supposed to be paintable, yeah, we should be a goer. We should be good to wrap this up, but I just need to be sure. So, we're going to leave this to dry, and I'll see you in a day or so. Right guys, it's been a couple of days. I left it over the weekend, so we could probably have a proper look if this gassing off issue, yeah, is an actual issue for us. And to be perfectly honest, I've come in, the results are quite good. So let's take a look at them. Okay, let's start off, and we will start off with our house paint. And as you can see, single coat. It is a little bit thin, but that's what I expected with the paint. You know, house paint, you need 2 coats. I don't see any colour problems. It's nice and firm. Yeah, it sticks well. And to be perfectly honest, I would expect Artex to be able to take house paint without any problems. Yeah, so, looking really good on that one. Right, moving along, we've got our raw acrylic. Yeah, and this is just bog standard artist acrylic. Yeah, once again. Yeah, a little bit thin, as I expected, guys. Yeah, but as you can see, we haven't had any colour changing problems or anything like that. It's stuck well. Yeah, I can't see any problems with that whatsoever, to be perfectly honest. I quite like that streaking effect, to be perfectly honest, but that's a different issue. Right, moving on. Yeah, we've got our aerosol can. Yeah, no problems. The propellant hasn't caused any weird effects or anything like that. It's gone down rather well. Yeah. Once again, we're on a winner. It's getting good, guys. It really is getting good. Right, finally, yeah, our PVA glue. Yeah, it stuck it down really well. Hasn't had an effect on it. Yeah. It doesn't really surprise me because I know decorators seal their work using PVA as well. You get sealing PVA. So it stands to reason that Artex would be designed to work with it. But yeah, beautiful. It stuck really, really well. Yeah. So overall, from the painting and the gluing, we're looking really good, guys. I mean, genuinely, we're looking really good. I can see why Dave uses this material. Now, obviously, it's okay doing a quick couple of tests. Yeah, but I'm not really going to get a proper handle on this, much like EPVC and every other material, until I've used it for about 6 months. Yeah, so the next job is for me to actually put this stuff into practice. Yeah, get it on terrain, get it using it, and really get to understand the material like the rest of the materials I use. Yeah, so overall, I'm quite pleased with it. So guys, I think we're on a winner with Artex. Now obviously, yeah, I need to sort of really play with this stuff over the next couple of months and get a proper handle on it. Now, if you've got any experience, please get it down in the comments and let me know. Yeah, if you've got any questions about using material or things you think I should try with it, yeah, get those down in the comments and I'll give them a play and see what I can come up with. Yeah, massive shout out to Dave Marshall at TM Terrain for sharing this little technique with the Terrainiac Nation. Yeah. We're on a winner here, guys. We really are on a winner. Yeah, so with that in mind, I'm going to wrap this up. Obviously, Like it if you like it, you know, share it if you know anyone who would find it useful. And as always, guys, these videos take time, effort, money, and, you know, bringing all this together. So if you do like these videos, if these Artex videos are helping you with your hobby, or have found you new material, or proving you material because they found it, yeah, then please consider supporting the channel. Whether it's $1 a month via Patreon, or whether it's a one-off gift via PayPal below. Either way, it all helps keep the lights on, the cameras running, and me producing this content for you and improving your hobby. So if you like it, please support it, guys. And in the meantime, I will see you soon with another video coming real soon. All the best, yeah? Ta-ra.